Okay, a great useful part of this course, amount of annuities. So what this is all about is you putting money away on a regular basis and figuring out how much money you have down the road. So add this to the next part, and this is where you look at present value of annuities. So the next part of the course is after you save all this money and you have all this money here, how much money can you take out on a regular basis so it lasts you for a certain period of time. Okay. So, but today, let's start with today's stuff. Let's switch over to green. If I put $1,000 into an account at the end of each year, so different than yesterday. Yesterday's work was here's some money and let's leave it and see what happens. Okay. This is every once in a while you put the same amount of money away, put the same amount of money away, put the same amount away, and how much money do you have at the end? Okay. So here, different question, different equations. So you do add an extra twist to this. We still have our A and we have a P later on, which we sometimes call PV, but it's the same thing. So we have A, which is the money later. Okay. You also have your P, which is money now, but we'll leave that for today. We have I, which is interest per year, and we have N. So they start off per year, and then they can be modified. Remember that they can be modified. And we also have one other thing. Now it's this, the 1,000. So the 1,000 is put in per year. So it's not your P. P would be how much money is put in right now. But per year on a regular basis is R. Okay, so R is the amount of money that's put in on a regular basis. So the equation we use now is this. And don't worry, you won't have to memorize it. A little bit more intense than the previous one. That's an I and that's an I. Okay, so cursive I, cursive I. And the question is, here's a simple question here. We have $1,000. How much will you have after 5 years? So you have A and then you have RIN. So you look through this and you say, I don't know how much. My regular amount is 1,000. So that goes here. I is 0.05, not modified. N is 5 years. So it's 5. And then you jam this entire thing into the equation. So you put 1,000 bracket. And you can put this immediately. You can go 1 plus I in one step. 1.05 to the 5. Excuse me. Subtract 1 like this, all over 0.05. And just like with our last unit, using your calculator properly is going to be a key part of this section here. 1,000 and then times, put a bracket here, and then 1.05 to the 5 with a bracket again, subtract 1, close bracket, all over 0.05. So you gotta use your own calculator. Not every calculator will treat this the same way. Some will do what you think it's doing, some won't. So get used to your calculator and work your way to this answer. Now, dollars and cents, I should have said this last unit. Always either no numbers after the decimal or 2 numbers after the decimal. Okay, 0.63, dollar sign in front, no dollar signs in the back. Keep in mind, you'll lose marks for that. Okay, so let's look at other stuff here. You want to you deposit this every 6 months. So I'm just going to change this slightly. Sorry, I'm not going to do this entire question. I just want to show you what your variables are when you put them in. You have ARIN, and I don't know, and it's 250, and it's every 6 months. So what this is, every 6 months, you can think of it this way. That's half a year, okay, times, and then this is monthly, or semi-annually. I take that back. So you put it in every 6 months for 3 years. So that is 3 years and 0.045, but it's semi-annually. So look for your modifier. You look for the LLYs or the LY words here, the adjectives. And adjectives or adverbs? Hurriedly. What is that? Compounded monthly. I don't know. Adverb. Adverb. LY. Oh, I'm old. Okay, so that's semi-annual. That's twice a year, so that's times 2 and divide by 2. So that's 6 semi-annuals in 3 years. So every 6 months for 3 years is 6 times, and divide 0.045 by that. And in this case, you can cut off. You can just put this as this because it terminates. The decimal does terminate. You don't need to use a fraction. So then you're going to throw this into the equation, and the equation is large, so I'm not going to bother. Okay, but here's your R, Here's your I, and your answer is 1586.95. Great questions right here. Okay, so let's take it one extra step, and then we're pretty much done. It's the same thing now, but we're going to be looking for R, and all we've done in this equation is adjusted the equation to solve for, that's a 1, to rearrange the equation so that it's solving for R. So same equation as before, move things around. You're looking for A earlier, now you're looking for R, and you end up with this. Okay, again, you'll have this on you. So now the question is, I want to have that in years. So you think to yourself later on when you're not sure, is this today's type of question or tomorrow's type of question, what we're doing in the next unit, you ask yourself, is this now or is it later? And remember that P is now, A is later. So you want that in 5 years, so it's later. Okay, so it's 2,500. You have an interest rate of 0.055. 5 years, sorry, 5 years is here. It's semi-annually once again, so your modifier is 2 and 2. So that's 10, and that is 0.0275. Okay, so if you can't get that in your head, do it in a calculator. So that's my rate. That's my amount of compound periods, and then R is what I'm looking for. How much money do I put away on a monthly basis, or sorry, on a semi-annual basis, so I can have that? Great question. Okay, I want $2,500 in 5 years, going on a trip, taking a course, whatever it is. How much money do I have to put away every 6 months, considering this is my interest rate, so that I can have that? So then you just stub all that into the equation, in the new equation, the one below here, and it is something like this, all over 1 plus, or 1.0275 to the 10, subtract 1. Now in this case, I personally probably would, I probably would find out what this is, and then find out what this is, and put them, find out what that is, and then divide after the fact. Okay, up to you how you want to deal with that. Again, you have to get used to your own calculator. And this answer is $220.60. Okay, and that's about it. That's the only real type of questions you can have. The only difference later on is sometimes you end up with your I being a fraction, and you're just gonna have to deal with that. Okay, it's all in your calculator anyway. So like over here, what you're gonna have this compounded weekly. So this will be 0.073 divided by 52. That's your I. Okay, so you're gonna have to have that in your calculator like that. If you want to take it to 4 decimal, figure this out to 4 decimal numbers after the decimal, that's fine. For 4 whole digits, they don't count 0. Okay, so if it's 0.0, blah 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 blah, that's what I need. And that's about it. Okay, so very useful stuff. How much money do I need? How much money will I get if I put money away? And then that brings up tomorrow's lesson, which is, now that I have the money, how long can I live on it? Okay.